Hello, everyone. I hope you're all doing well today, and I thank you so much for joining me here at Cindy's Creative Cards. I am so excited to show you what we're doing today because it just goes right along with the celebration that's going on this month for watercolor. It happens to be World Watercolor Month, and we're going to be working with watercolor pencils today. The focus is going to be on determining which you like best, the blender pen with the watercolor or the water painter. There are slight differences once you see it done, but I'm going to have to let you choose what you like best. So I want to say hello to all of you out there. If there you are, would you like to say hello and let me know who you're from, where you're from, and who you are? I would love to say thank you for visiting. Hello, Susan from North Pole, Alaska. It's so good to see that you're here with us. Okay, I'm going to flip the camera down, so give me a minute to get it reoriented. Let's see, I want to do it this way. All right, now here we go. I'm going to show you some examples of what I've done with the watercolor pencils. And today we're going to be making tags, which is always useful for anyone, because everyone gives presents. This was done with the blender pen. This one was done with the watercolor pencil. There's slight differences. This one's a little darker, more like a marker, I suppose. Not quite. This one is lighter and just looks more like a watercolor. This one, to me, is easier to control the color that you're moving about. Although this one, I like the look of better. Okay, so let me show you what we're going to be using today. These are called, let me make sure I'm writing this name, tailor-made tags. And here they are. It's the tags that happen to be in the annual catalog. And it is on page 1. Well, let me find it. That's the designer tags, tailor-made tags. Where are those things? Here's our annual catalog, May through April of next year. And the tailor-made tags are right here on page 175. Now, there are two styles within this particular pack. The other, there are some other tags that are available. They're called the designer tags. They are much, much smaller. And there also are some tags that I think are called the trio tags that are on clearance right now, and they're much smaller as well. So this is why I chose the tailor-made tags. And I'm using the largest in this. The designs are a little different. This is rounded, and the corners are cut out and rounded across the top, where this is slanted and squared off at the bottom. So we'll be using these, and I'm going to be cutting that out in just a bit. We're also going to be using our watercolor pencils. This is assortment 2. There are 2 sets. This is the first set they put out, and then they added on this second set. And even though the colors are specific to the colors in the range of inks that they have, you can make it darker or lighter and make it work with most anything. They are in the annual catalog on page 126, and I'm going to show you this because I want you to know where it is. Page 126, right here. It says watercolor pencils, and underneath this description, they have assortment 1 and assortment 2. Now, we're also going to be using the blending pen, which is here on 129, and the water painters on 129. So, I'm going to here's your blending pen, and this is an example of a water painter. Here's your brush, and you put your water down in here and squeeze it as you're using it. All right, now we're going to cut out our tags, and I'm going to do that with the mini cut and emboss machine. You've seen the larger one I used in a different video, but this is the mini, and it is a workhorse, just like the big one. It's easy to use. It fits right on your desk and takes a very little real estate. It opens up just like the larger one. It just has a smaller space. You can use a lot of the dies that are in the catalogs. I'm going to be using this plate. And then you can see that I have used it quite a lot because here are the cutting plates with etching all over it. So I'm going to put my paper down and let you see that. And then I'm going to get that die from the Tailor Made die set. And I'm going to get this larger one because it's going to suit what we're doing today, our needs. So I'm going to place it here. Now, it's best when running these through the die machines that you sort of put it at an angle. It catches on just a bit easier. And that's not going to catch right there. Let's see. Let's try to add like more of an angle. Here, and I'm going to press, and why won't this thing go in? Of course it would do it on the video like this. All right, I didn't have my plates in the right place. All righty, now we'll try. Oh, dear me, still not going through. I wonder what the problem is here. Trying again, making sure my plates are in the right place. This is not a good demonstration of how handy this is because it really is a handy little machine. Here it goes. And just like the larger one, it's got the pads on the bottom so you can it will keep from slipping. And here is the tag, cut just as beautifully as the larger one. Okay, now we are going to need a second tag, and I do have some cut out here so we don't have to go through that again. And this is what we're going to be using. I'm going to put these things aside, and I'm going to bring in my pad. I love this to stamp on where I've got extra paper that I can stamp off on if I need to. Okay, I've got my 2 tags. So what I'm going to do now is to get the paper that I'm going to be using. As in this tag, I've got this tag, but I need a colored piece of paper, a designer series paper underneath. I'll stamp it in black, and then I'm going to use my poppy red color to watercolor it. And then I'll use this poppy parade red for the strip that you see right here. And then we'll do a sentiment and cut it. What I want to show you now is what I'm going to be using. The paper, the designer series paper. This is from the Splendid Thoughts suite, just as this one is. I don't know if you can see this designer series paper, this pool party underneath here. I want to show you this series of paper because it is gorgeous. There is full papers. Here's your copper color, and on the back it's a red design, and this red design, well, you know, tell you what, I think I must have put my Splendid Days set away. Thank goodness it's right here. This is this stem here that you see. Then this is the one that I use. I love this the most. This is Pool Party, and on the back is what I used in this tag. Then there's the silver with sort of Sahara sand, it looks like, on the back. This pinkish lavender, really, is what it is. It looks like heather, Highland heather. And then we have one last one where it has just along the bottom, and on the back, that looks like pear pizzazz or maybe Granny Apple Lane. I'm not sure. But those are these beautiful papers in this set. And they're on page 65 of the mini holiday catalog. This mini catalog has just come out. It's effective as of July, and it will run through December. And this Splendid Day suite is here on pages 64 to 65. And it has the set, the stamp set. It has embellishments. It has the papers. It is a gorgeous set. So here it is, that stamp set right here. This is the design we're going to be using today. So I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to pull out, this is a rubber cling stamp. And I'm going to get my stamp block, and it is H, and I'm going to use Memento Tuxedo Black ink. But before I can stamp, I need to cut the paper that we're going to be using. Now, in this, the way I did this is, I know that I'm going to have this, and I'm going to show you exactly how I'm going to cut this. In fact, I'll do that right now. I'm going to bring in, this is a scrap of this piece. I'm going to cut this right here to straighten it up. There's this little slit there. and I will be using those for sure in another project. But what I do is I can measure this, but I lay it down because I want it to be precise. I'm going to get it right here. I'm going to put it right inside and right there. And then I'm going to use my pencil and mark right there. Now, I also need to mark the length, which will be right here. All right, so we'll go ahead and cut this. I am going to cut it at my little mark. And I'm going to cut another piece just like this. And I'm just going to line it up and mark. All right, now we have our pieces ready to put down. Then we can decide, well, that didn't work. What did I do wrong? The length is right. I just need to cut a little more off here. I think I looked at the wrong mark that was on it. Okay, it's going to be right there. So we'll bring this back in. We're going to get this right. And make sure that I get this exactly right. And I want it right there. Alrighty. So now, that didn't cut all the way through. Let's try that again. Now we have our two pieces. We're going to glue these down so it will fit right here. And we're going to go ahead and glue this because then we'll be able to tell exactly the size of the white piece that we're going to be using. It's hard to tell what's glue and what's design on this one. Okay, so I'm going to put that in just like that. And then here we go. We're going to do the next one. It breaks my heart sometimes to cut this foil paper, but the designs are so pretty on both sides. And that foil will slip around before it gets glued down. Okay, now here we go. We've got both of those glued down, and I have now got eraser. Okay. Now I can determine what size paper that I want to use. Now my paper strip right here is going, I say, and I just eyeball it. And actually, I think I want to cut a little bit off of this and go up just a little bit right there. Let's try and see how that will work. This is exactly what I do in my craft room every day. Sometimes I'm using that ruler. That's perfect. That's exactly what I want there. So I'm going to cut a second one. We'll mark it right here. And then line it up. All right. I just love this cutter. It never fails me. All right, so I know that this is going to work right there. Okay, now, where did I put my second tag? Is it on the bottom of my, yep, it's on the bottom of the cutter. Here it is. And that will work like that. Now, I'm not going to glue that down yet because I'm going to stamp on it. So I'm going to put that to the side. That's to the side. Here we go. And I'm going to take out my, pull this over and take out my Memento Tuxedo Black ink. Let me slide this where I think you can see this. And we'll ink up my stamp. And then center. Now, it's going to go off of this, just maybe not. I think it's going to work. There we go. Okay, there we go. We have two designs. Now, we're going to use the watercolor pencil, and they have in here a real red, and that's our option. So I'm going to pull it out, and it's going to be, that's Melon Mambo, real red. And as you can see, it is, it looks more like poppy red. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how I do this. I color these pieces right here. And you don't have to worry about getting exactly in the lines, although I do try. And then just coloring. Now, it does not hurt to leave a little bit of white. That actually enhances the look of it, making it look more like watercolor actually. But I like to do it in circles when I put my color down because it blends better that way. Oftentimes I had tried the going straight up and down or backwards and forwards, and you could still see the lines. So I learned quickly that this is what I'd prefer to do. So I don't mind now. I'm going to go a little bit outside of this because I want to have a difference. Let's see if I can get, yeah. Because that would be like shadow. Because it looks like this is, that center part probably is indented a little bit, the stem of it. I love these watercolor pencils, and I use them frequently. I have also used the pastels, and I'll do that one day and show you the difference. So I'm just coloring these in, giving a little definition there by making it darker in the center. And almost done. Okay, so I have put color on both of them. Next, I'm going to pull in my napkin. I'm going to use that like a paper towel. We're going to do the watercolor one first, and it's going to be on the right. Okay, now, I do need to say this. I used Memento black ink, tuxedo black ink. If you were going to put a lot of water on this, then you would need to use watercolor paper. The basic white cardstock cannot handle a whole lot of water. So I'm going to go ahead now and get my water flowing. And I like to start with a light. And then do my back. I mean the dark part. Can you see how this just evens out? And you can even pull your color from this darker part if you choose to. You can pull it around. Isn't that pretty? And it looks like watercolor. People will think you have gone to art school. All right, so here we have this colored in with the watercolor painters. That's what they're called, water painters. All right, now I'm going to bring in my blending pen or blender pen. And it has a tip. It's solid. It's not like a brush, but it's pointed like a brush. So we'll slide that to the side. And I'm going to see if you can tell a difference. It's a little bit easier to control the color, but I think it makes it automatically darker and more like a marker or an alcohol marker, really. It's what it reminds me of. The color moves a lot easier, a lot faster. And there you go. Now, here are the two side by side. It's a little bit hard to tell a difference. Okay, I'm going to clean this off, and all you do is just brush it against your paper towel or napkin, and it cleans it off for the next time around. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to we're on to making our gift tags. So I'm going to glue this down in the center. I'm using my multi-purpose glue. Really doesn't take much, and this glue dries clear, so if you get it on the project, it will dry clear, and it gives you a little bit of wiggle room. Time to wiggle it about, whereas the tape runner does not. Okay, so I'm going to pull this one in. Put my glue on it. And There we go. Now, I want to have a strip. If you can see, this looks more poppy red than it does real red. I'm going to put a strip across it as I did with this one. And I marked off the width that I would like for it to be. So I'm going to cut that. I'm going to lay this to the side and let it continue to dry. And it will be dry very quickly. So I'm going to cut where I marked here. That's the first one. And here's the second one. Right here. So these are much too long, but we're going to measure and we're going to cut that. So let's see. I want it right here, and I want that stem to show. So I just do want it hanging over the edge a bit. So I'm now going to cut these, the length of this, with my cutter. I could do it with a pair of scissors, but I just have this hard time getting it straight. So I know that if I'm doing it with this trimmer, I'm going to get it straight. Most of the time. If I do it correctly, that is. Okay, so this was my blender pen, and this was my watercolor. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to glue this down like that. Okay. And I want the stem to show. So I'm going to place this right there. And I'm going to do the same with this one. Right there. Okay, now what we need is a sentiment. And I pulled out potted geraniums, which has been in our catalog, and I'm going to use the Just For You stamp. So I'm going to pull this out, and here it is, right here, this tiny little thing. Just For You is something that can be work for anybody, any occasion. So I'm going to lay it down. Put my stamp on it, stamp block on it, and this is stamp block A. This is the smallest one. Okay, and I'm going to get out my Memento black ink again. Okay, I need a strip of white, which I have right here. All right, going to ink this up. And I'm not so, and I like to do it an extra time because I didn't like that one right there. It doesn't bother me that it's not completely straight because I know I'm going to punch it out. And I can do that. This is a punch that Stampin' Up! Had years ago that I pulled out. It's a paper shaper. And I'm going to use it. It fits just perfectly. Okay, there's one. Now I hope there's enough. Yep. And there's two. Okay, now I am ready to paste this down. Or adhere it, I guess I should say. It sounds, that's a prettier word to me. right there. I'm going to do it over here as well. Okay. Now, these need a little bit of embellishment. So I went through my embellishment drawer and I found these wonderful gems. So I'm going to, they're sort of glittery. I'm going to use my pick it up tool. Take a pick. I can't remember which one it is. My brain's just fried, it seems, today. I want to put that here, right there. And I'm going to put one right here. And I am going to pull in some ribbon that I had in my stash. Now, any ribbon, I'm not sure. I don't like that. That has a pinkish tint to it. So, I'm going to bring in, I could use a red, but I've also got this that I can use right here. And I sort of like that. So, I'm going to always cut about 9 inches, knowing I'm going to cut a little bit off when I get finished, but at least I know that I am going to have enough. So when I do it, I hold my ribbon like this and put the ends like this. I'm going to thread it through. The front. A lot of people have problems with this because they're threading it through the back. And there we go. Now, I'm going to cut off some of this. And there is the finished tag. Let's do it again. And this other one. I'm going to hold it like this and fold it over so I can run it through. Get the tape off of my finger so it doesn't mess it up. Well, can't seem to get rid of it. There we go. When all else fails, just rub it on your clothes. Alright, the back went through, the top did not. So I'm going to try this again. I have a hard time with ribbons and tying because I don't have feeling in my fingers. From neuropathy. Getting old is not easy. It's not for the birds, guys. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to cut this and this. Now, that's still a little long. All right, and there we go. We have our 2 tags. Now, you'll have to let me know what you think, which one you like best, the watercolor painters, the water painters, or the blender pen. I'm going to show you another set that I did, and this one is the watercolor, the water painters. This one is the blender pen. Can you tell a difference? Not much difference to be told, really. I look at the leaves and I don't tell much of a difference. So we have these two that we've made today. Now I do think putting a red ribbon the color of this would be really pretty. But there we go. So I'm going to pull you up. And I'm going to do this so I don't see myself upside down. I appreciate you joining me here today, and I hope that you'll make some tags using the watercolors. I love using the watercolor painters for a lot of things, for coloring a lot of images. It really makes it, just makes it look just a bit different than anything else, because watercolor is a special technique, and it is not easy to do if you're doing it with brushes and paints. It is definitely something that has to be learned. It's a skill that takes a lot of time to learn, but it's fun trying. That's why these watercolor pencils are so cool. I'd like to say that I will try to have the instructions for these tags on my blog by Friday. I'm afraid last time I was not able to follow through on my promise and did not get them up until Sunday. I had problems, technical problems that took me a while to figure out, but they were posted on Sunday for last week and available. I will try to have these posted on Friday. If not, do know they will be coming in a short time. I hope that you've enjoyed this. I hope that you'll try it. There, you've got stamps in your stamp collection that I'm sure you can find that will work for doing this. And that's my hope, is that you'll take what I'm showing you and use what you have to create. I hope that you've enjoyed it. I look forward to having you next Wednesday when we do tips, tricks, and techniques again. If you do not have a demonstrator, I would love to be yours. I will work with you in any way you need. All you have to do is contact me. If you need a catalog, I will be very happy to mail you a catalog. A mini as well. And I want to share that with the new mini catalog being out, and I am trying to find that. The mini catalog being out now, and this is what it looks like. It was effective July 1st, and it will be in effect through December, the end of December, December 31st, I believe. And for the next 2 months, we have celebration with a purchase out of either the annual catalog or the mini catalog, or you can combine, of $50. You can get free gifts, and you just have to pick it out of the celebration catalog. If you purchase up to $100, you can get even more gifts. Well, not more, I guess I should say, but the gift itself is a little bit more. I can also send you the celebration catalog along with the new mini. So just let me know if you need that. My information, my contact information is on Facebook in the About section. You can find everything you need there. And also on my blog, I have it listed where you can find me as well. So I hope you'll take advantage of the celebration period, because there are some really awesome offerings in this catalog. So I just want to say thank you. And I will see you next Wednesday when we will craft again. So, dream and create. Bye-bye.